Let's discuss hurricanes in the South. We're going to go ahead and get this conversation out of the way now because it's about to be hurricane season. We won't want to be talking about this at that time. It'll be a little bit more sensitive then. Now, if you've grown up here, then you are very familiar with a hurricane. You might could call it a hurricane or you might could call it a hurricane. Either way, it is a giant storm that we are all afraid of. Now, there are some clarifications to what we are afraid of. I certainly am not a meteorologist, but I will tell you that if the hurricane is below a category 3, and I'm not diminishing anything, we are concerned, but you will not see a panic until it inches up to that category 3 level. Below category 3, okay, we're not excited, but nobody's running for the hills. Category 3s and above, we are very concerned about. Not super concerned about your tropical storm unless there's like a bunch of water going to be dropped and we're going to flood or something. And I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying how it is. But we are concerned when it gets up to category 3. If you're category 2, we will be watching. If you're a category 3, we are concerned. If you're a category 4, we know what we're in for. And the hurricanes are so much different than tornadoes because with the tornado, it might could miss you. Probably's gonna. Tornadoes are usually small. Here we had one that was 2 miles wide, but usually small, contained to a specific area, usually a strip of damage. A hurricane is everywhere, especially if it's above a category 2 or category 3. I'm in Mississippi. Mississippi, if you're from here. It used to be Camille that was the standard. Before Camille and after Camille were the times. Then we moved to Hurricane Katrina, and we have before Katrina and after Katrina. The pandemic sort of stepped in on that a little bit, but as far as hurricanes go, Katrina is our most recent marker of damage. Now here's how I knew that we were in for something with Hurricane Katrina. Been having hurricanes my whole life. I've been so mad that my beach vacation got ruined by a hurricane before, but up until that point I had not experienced a very damaging one. Here's how I knew this one was different. Katrina happened on a Monday. The Sunday before, we had Sunday school and regular service. But then, would you believe, they canceled the Sunday night service. When they made that announcement and that preacher looked solemn, I knew we were in for it. The only other time we got anywhere close to getting out of church was when we'd have like a 5th Sunday night sing on a Sunday night service instead of the preaching. Everybody would get up and do a singing special. The preacher would get up and preach a little bit at the end. He always said he wasn't going to, but he would. But that's the closest we ever came to actually canceling a service. So when we didn't physically meet, alarms. I near about took to the bed right then. This is abnormal behavior. And then they called everybody down there to start praying for his will to be done through this hurricane. Preferably his will would be closer to our will, but you know, the Lord works in mysterious ways. And wow, was I right. It was not great. But one beautiful thing about the South during disasters, of which we have many, is that everybody comes together. It doesn't matter who you are. Somebody might hand you a chainsaw to get to cutting those limbs and those trees right off your driveway. I was handed a chainsaw. That's remarkable because I'm one of those people that they previously would not allow to touch the chainsaw. But we all come together. Everybody is going to be outside helping everybody, checking on everybody, making sure everybody's okay. And it doesn't just mean at the first emergency level of things. We didn't have power or water for weeks down here. We waited for hours in lines to get gas. We weren't sure if there was going to be more food that was able to get down here because of all the damage. It was trying times. People here can put aside all differences and just be human together. And that's the one beautiful thing that comes from disasters like hurricanes. So you need to get prepared for hurricane season. If you can get a generator, get a generator. If you can't get one, find out where your local shelter is. You need some water. You'll probably need to fill up your bathtub. Probably gonna flush the toilets with it. I think that's what we did with it. If you've got a dog around your house, it's a good idea to keep them kind of washed off throughout the summer, even though that's difficult. I had a golden retriever who smelled like an absolute corpse, and we had to close the windows one night during the power outage and almost suffocated because he smelled so bad. He was outside. He smelled so bad outside with the windows open. We decided to suffocate in still air in August without an air conditioner. He smelled that bad. So that's just a pro tip for me to you. Make sure that's taken care of before the storm itself hits. We all know that we're going to go buy every piece of bread and milk available in the store, And listen, we've got lots of jokes about how we'll run to the store and buy up all the bread and milk at the slightest hint of snow or the slightest hint of a storm. And sure, we don't know how to handle snow. But let me tell you something. Until you have seen those shelves empty, I mean, the pandemic showed us that a little bit, but until you've seen those shelves empty because the trucks can't physically get down here because the interstate is blocked with actual trees, I don't know, we've got a lot to make fun of. But maybe we should rethink that bread and milk joke. There's been times where there was no bread or milk for a couple of weeks. That kind of thing sticks with you for a little bit. So we're going to go buy the bread and the milk. That won't be changing anytime soon. Might as well keep that in stock for the next few months instead of having to rush at the last minute. Stay on top of your yard work and your housework so you don't have to deal with all that rush right before the storm. You know your house has got to be clean in case it gets damaged, and your yard needs to be all picked up in case things fall in it. You don't want to add stuff to your work afterwards. And you also don't want any emergency workers, rescue people, insurance adjusters coming in and seeing you live like you were raised in a barn. Very important, if your house gets blown away, that it's clean. But for real, we do that because the power might go out. You won't be able to use the vacuum cleaner. You're not going to be able to clean like you normally would. So go ahead and get that done, or else you're going to be looking at your mess for a while in the dark. I hope this summer we don't have to all join together out of neighborly concern. Rather, we can join out of neighborly love. Hurricanes are no good, but your neighbors are. So, it's hurricane season. It's time to start thinking about it. So let's all just be prepared and don't be scared. Unless your neighbor is.